Why high value feminine women move in silence and choose their friends wisely. Hello, my name is Chengis. I am your dating and relationship expert, CEO and founder of the Black Swan Relationship Academy, your auntie, friend, sister, whatever you need me to be to teach you how to be a high value, high status, high worth woman that high quality men find completely irresistible. If that sounds good to you, then you're on the right channel, and let's proceed. Now, I really wanted to talk about this subject today because, oh, girls, I cannot tell you the impact of the people that you call friends. And I want to discuss friendship for a little bit of a while because I want us to really understand. Because, you know, we hear it in our churches, we're hearing it on social media, move in silence, move in silence. But sometimes it just doesn't hit the heart right, you know? Sometimes the head is getting the message, but the heart is not getting the memo, because we are often so trusting, and sometimes the people we trust, yes, have a great track record. They have been trustworthy all of our lives. They have been people we can count on and rely on all our lives. They've always been there through thick and thin. They are cheerleaders. They're the ones that will be crying on our wedding day because they can't believe how lucky we are. And they are those amazing, huge, amazing, big-hearted people that we can call friends. I for sure have at least two women that I can say without a shadow of a doubt, tried and tested over many years, would really truly be happy for me. But even I have learned that even with those women, to move in silence, especially when it comes to dating and relationships. Okay, one of the most things, there's some things I need us to understand about the nature of us as women, the nature of human beings, so that we can understand. Just because somebody means you well, I want you to understand that people mean us well until we do better than them, until we go further than them. Because when you are the single girl who's always crying to a married friend or to other single friends, and you know, you can never seem to find a man, and things are so hard for you and it's so difficult for you, many times, and this is not true of everybody, but many times you become the one that everybody gets to feed off, the one that always has a bad story, and then the status quo is set up where you come with the bad stories and the other person is your comfort, and you kind of make them feel better about their lives. They might be unhappy in their marriage or might be in a relationship that they're not that fantastically happy with, and then you come along and you make them feel better. At least I'm not single, thank God. Or, you know, at least I date better guys than my friend. Then one day you meet Mr. Black Swan King, and he is amazing and he does all the things that your friend has never had done. And so you go off excited, oh my goodness, I'm gonna share this great news with my friend. And guess what happens? She's happy for you. There's a part of her that is so happy for you. There's another part of her that is human, that is like, oh, this wasn't meant to happen. You're not supposed to then go and find this amazing relationship and leave me being the one looking at my relationship thinking, why am I settling? Right? And I don't actually believe that people necessarily mean to be this way, but after a while they start to look for holes. Well, sounds a bit too good to be true. Have you asked him about this? Have you dug into this? Have you searched that? All of a sudden, they're trying to pick holes in what you found, because in their minds, consciously, they think, I want to protect my friend because this sounds too good to be true. But in truth, there's something else at work. The feeling that they're being left behind, the feeling that if this works, that might mean a completely different lifestyle, that might mean you going away, that might mean you being better than who they are. Jealousy is a human condition. We all get jealous, and anybody that says, oh, I don't get jealous, a liar. We all get jealous, but how we manage that jealousy is really to do with our own spiritual elevation and development, and just our wholeness as a person. But I do want you to know that why would we put our friends in that position? Why would we put our friend in a position where they are more likely to be the lesser version of themselves than if we just hadn't. Until something in this relationship is established, we've gotten enough dates, things are now feeling solid, we feel like we understand where we're going, then we can introduce other third parties. The second thing as well that we need to understand is that we cannot underestimate the power of the people's voices who've been in our lives. I see this happening with men a lot more than I see it happening with women, but I am very, very certain it happens with women as well. We underestimate the power that the voices that we have walked with have over our lives. We underestimate what their opinion means to the decision-making processes that we're making. We underestimate how much of our lives we've built around the status quo, which is why our lives reflect the 5 people we spend our most time with. This is why it is so, because we start to have a joint consciousness. And if I was dating a guy and I submitted this relationship in its infancy to my friends who love me and cherish me deeply, the truth of the matter is, even if I was seeing his spirit and I was interacting and feeling like his interactions with me authentic, it would only take my friend to go, And all of a sudden, I am now showing up to this date and I don't know where that voice is coming from. I was happy. I was seeing the light. I was seeing the goodness. But that little voice of that person that we trust and have trusted and kind of seek to be a part of, that is now putting a question mark. Are they going to accept him? What am I missing? What am I not seeing? And now my interaction with this person is tainted. My interaction with this person is, this is voice that is speaking. And maybe my friend didn't even mean to imply any of that. But now I have submitted this relationship in its infancy to another person, and I have experienced this over and over again. And like I said, men are really prone to this. Men will go and say, hey, look at this girl, I've met this girl, she's beautiful, and they just anticipate that their cousin or friend or whatever they're telling is going to be like, well done, you've just found yourself a queen, and I'm here trying to make this girl, trying to turn this girl into a queen, and here you are with a queen, here you are with a beautiful woman who's smart, intelligent, who's going to elevate you, take you away, make you better, and we're going to lose you, so I'm just going to stand right here and soldier you on. And men don't often realize that the toxicity sometimes in their friendships. I think men are very trusting, especially if they grew up without a brother or they grew up without a certain, environment around them, can be so naive and so trusting. And so I have found that, with us women it's the same thing. So why not give this relationship a chance? Why not trust that, let's take the safety protocols. Let's not go on dates with men into secret places that we know nothing about. Let's not put ourselves in unsafe places. Let's not go for late night dates. Let's go for safe times in public places so we don't have to worry about our safety. Let's get our dating coach and let our dating coach know where we are. Let's try and contain. Anything in its infancy is going to always be subject to opinions. And sometimes we want to show off, and sometimes we want to let our friends know what we found, but we are only sealing the death warrant on that relationship. Relationships, when they start, especially in the 21st century, everybody's nervous, everybody's been hurt, everybody's on the lookout, everybody's on the lookout for red flags. Men are on the lookout for red flags. Women are on the lookout for red flags, pink flags, orange flags. I've heard it all. Everybody's trying to remember the last 7 signs that he's a narcissist. Everybody is thinking 5 signs she's a gold digger. Right? Everybody's got these massive narratives in the back of their heads that that they bring to the table, that they lead with, that they are charging forward with, and then we have to overcome that. We have to do that work and sit there and say, okay, can I just be present in this moment with this person? And then on top of that, we are now adding the opinions of our friends. We're now adding the weight of the people around us and what they think about our choices and our decisions. I want you to understand that if you're a black swan, you must be okay to swim across the lake by yourself and be as beautiful and as gracious as you can. I want you to know that young relationships, dating phases, these are very infantile, they're very fragile. There's a lot of negotiating, a lot of nuances, a lot of very tricky nuances that come with the dating phase of the relationship, and trying to really build a connection with somebody is very intricate, and you need to give that time. You need to give your inner voice time to speak to you. You need to, I was saying to my friend, I said, even if you approved, even if you said, you know what, I like him, the fact that you've said it is going to make me go on that date and overlook red flags, because he's almost been certified and approved by my network and the people that I trust. And so I might be seeing some red flags, but at this point, my friends like him, so he must be good. So now I am overrunning, and I'm doing this video because I've had so many of my clients who I'm working with them one-to-one. We're working through certain things, breaking patterns. And what do? They submit every single session with me to their bestie, and then they have this conversation with their bestie and discuss, oh, my coach said I should do ABC, and the bestie goes, oh, I don't believe in any of that. Oh, that sounds really silly. Oh, that's a bit whatever. They give their opinion. And then she goes off and does what the bestie said, or starts to question. And then what happens is she gets the same results she's always gotten, because this is the people you've been going to for advice. The fact that you came for coaching means the advice is not working, okay? It is very difficult for somebody who is too close to you, who loves you, to be able to really be able to see objectively over your life. I say that to my coaches. I'm like, the closer you ladies are getting to me, the harder it is for me to actually see with the same clarity I did when I first didn't know you, because now I'm emotionally involved in your outcomes. My vision is blurry too. And this is the truth about friends and family. Friends and family, which is the third point, are so close to the situation. Their perspective is often warped. Their perspective is often off center, because they're just so worried that you're going to get hurt, you're going to get deceived, you're going to get duped, that they sometimes lack the objectivity that a coach or you would have. Because the truth of the matter is, in love, we have an insight into a person that generally most people won't have, because they don't get to be as intimate. Because romantic relationships are the most intimate relationships known to us as human beings, because no matter what relationship a mother has with her infant, that child is growing inside the mother's womb, and that is an intimate moment. But eventually that child grows outside of the mother's womb and eventually leaves and goes out. But an intimate partner comes into the life, shares the life, the body, they become one flesh, and that person is supposed to stay forever and ever and ever and evolve with you. So this is a very unique relationship. And for that to last, you need to have seen qualities and deep into that person's soul, been so intimate with them in a way that other people will never be able to understand. Now, I'm not saying that there is no room or space for your friends and your family to have a say, but by the time they have their say, it shouldn't really fundamentally matter to the decision that you have made. Now, obviously, if they're going to say, well, we don't like him, something funny about him, of course you're gonna note that, and then perhaps have a conversation with him or start to deal with certain issues that may be coming up. But if that were to happen in its infancy, you have completely annihilated that relationship. And sometimes we are so busy subjecting our relationship decisions as grown women who've lived long enough to our friends and familiar circles, and we are aborting and sabotaging relationships early. If you need professional advice on your relationship, I would rather invest in somebody giving me an objective professional insight into a relationship issue than to feel that I have to rush to the same network of people that I have been relying on. So it's really important, Black Swan, that you really take to heart what I'm saying to you, because there are so many components, so much competition sometimes between friends that you are not even aware of. And that's the thing with pure-hearted people, is sometimes you're not aware that you have a friend that's actually in competition with you. You didn't realize you're in competition. You actually thought this was a love thing between the two of you. But turns out that you are in a silent competition, and that your happiness is a problem for other people. You know, this is not just a principle that you're going to use in relationships. It's a principle that you're going to use in life. It's a principle you're going to use as you journey through life. You're going to realize that not everybody means you well. Not everybody who smiles with you, not everybody who eats with you. You know, I was just reminded as I was kind of having my morning devotion and reading my Bible, and, you know, Jesus is saying, one of you is going to betray me. And, you know, everyone was like, would it be me? And, you know, I just thought it was ironic when Judas said, is it me, Lord? And I'm thinking, yeah, you know it's you. You just had a conversation. Why are you saying, is it me? And it really brought me to a point where I realized there are human beings in this world who really are just bad, okay? But yet they will be in our inner circle. They will act, talk, be as though they're on our side. But in reality, they're not on our side. You know, this childlike and infantile trust in the people that we've had all our lives. Look at your life. Do you have the life you desire? Do you have the money, the love, the business, the ministry that you desire? Why not? Why haven't you been able to create it? You are loved so much. Are these the people that are in your inner circle? Why are they in your circle? And what boundaries have you given in and around that? You know, and as I was having this conversation with my bestie, she was like, you know what, I appreciate that. Don't tell me anything until you know. And that's a real friend. A real friend doesn't need to know every little step. They can respect your boundaries and your standards. And all they want for you is to be safe and happy. It's so important that we set these boundaries, that we let people know that we don't owe them a conversation around our love life. We don't owe them a conversation about who we're seeing, who we're not seeing, what's his name. We don't owe people that narrative. What we do is get ourselves a coach who we will share certain information with, and they will guide us to a successful relationship, help us to vet, give us insight on some of the stuff that we are watching. Or we go and, you know, just work it out in a journal and just take that initial journey. The first 3 months of a dating courtship relationship should be silent. They should be between you and this man, not because he's asking you to be a secret, not because he's hiding you. And that doesn't mean that if your relationship feels comfortable and happy and whole, that you don't introduce them within that 3 months period. But I just want you to know that you've got to nurture it. You've got to give it life. You've got to let it take root before you start to expose it, because a lot of us are hemorrhaging relationships at 100 miles an hour, right? Men and women are hemorrhaging relationships at 100 miles an hour because the one thing you will never be able to detect in your relationships is jealousy. Often the people we run to for advice is because over the years we are oblivious to jealousy, we're oblivious to envy. We don't even know what that looks like in their eyes, because they have over time earned the right to be trusted like that. But there are some things in life that are that crucial, that important. You know, whenever I'm making any massive big moves, I make them first, announce later, and let the manifestation of things come through. Doesn't mean that we don't trust anybody, but it just means that we walk cautiously. Let things establish. Let your relationship establish some kind of roots. Let it create some kind of consistency. Study this person, know him before you are informed as to what he should be for you. It's really very important, Black Swan, that we are wise in the establishing of new dating relationships. And it breaks my heart when I see people abort destiny because they submitted what was no one's business to other people. When you get advice and you go and second guess it and question it with people. I've had clients who've said, you know, my friends told me, why are you spending money on coaching? That's ridiculous, right? And they were wise enough to be like, I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing now because you're only going to discourage me. And how many of us who have submitted our decisions, oh, I'm going to get a coach. Oh, why do you need that? That's just a complete waste of time. But what are you robbing yourself of? There's so much that we're submitting, and I want us to enter into 2022 with a sense of self-trust. You know, it's time for us to trust ourselves, trust our gut, and allow ourselves to believe that we can navigate through relationships. We can make good and healthy decisions for our lives without always submitting them to the judgment and to the opinion and to the intervention of the people around us. Of course, if it's dangerous and you feel unsafe, then you are grown up enough, you're mature enough to extract yourself, and you should extract yourself, you know, or seek professional advice. But I had to do this video because I want to see relationships blossom. I want to see you be happy. I want to see you come alive. And so in the meantime, I will see you in my next video. Do take care of you. Bye-bye now.